Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a great day today. Today we have some new makeup goodies to try out. I might have said this before, but I spent a little bit of extra money. I went on a little shopping spree, if you will. I have a couple things from Sephora and Ulta here that I really wanted to try out. If you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related. I try to focus on conscious consumption, but I do slip up at times. But if you are interested in this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's just hop into it. Okay, so I zoomed in a little bit so you could see my complexion a little bit better. You can kind of see I have some acne right there, and I have a little bit of darkness under my eyes, but I figured we would just hop into it. So the first thing I'm super excited to try is actually the new Patrick Ta foundation and powder, which looks like that. I've swatched it very briefly, but I haven't tried this on my face yet, so I'm excited to try that now. I'm actually going to use this e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. It's just kind of like a bigger brush that is pretty soft, actually. I'm just going to dip right in there. I'm not picking up a lot of product, but I've heard pretty good things about this. I'm hoping this is an okay match for me. When I swatched it, it looked okay, but it might be a little dark. So I'm not sure like how much I'm supposed to pick up. I'm trying to go in with small amounts and build up if necessary. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. This side is with and without. Let me zoom you in a little bit more just so you can really see. That is with. And without. On first application, it looks okay. It looks a little bit dewy. Definitely not like super dewy though, but it doesn't really look like there's a ton on my skin. I'm also not using that much product. I think this undertone might be a little pink for me. But as I'm blending this out, it definitely doesn't look heavy or cakey on my skin. With the amount of product that I used, I feel like it is a pretty light coverage. And I don't really think I was able to build it up that much. I do like how it's currently sitting on my skin though. It really does not look like there is anything on my skin at all. I want to try my forehead with a little bit denser of a brush. So this is the Rare Beauty foundation brush, just to see how this applies. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Right now, I am pretty happy with what I'm seeing. It has covered a little bit, but not too much. It's a pretty lightweight coverage, and I want to say that the shade match is actually okay for me, especially in the summertime. This definitely wouldn't work in the winter, but right now it's okay. It feels a tiny bit sticky, which I'm hoping that the powder will kind of bring down a little bit. I tried not to use a ton of product, but as far as the finish goes, I feel like it looks pretty good right now. I think it's picking up a little bit in between my eyebrows here. It looks a little bit dry. I don't necessarily not expect that though. So we're gonna wait and see. We're gonna see how this sinks in. I definitely want to keep trying this out. This is like literally my first impressions of all of these products. So I think my skin has a nice glow to it. It's not overly glowy, but I think it covers enough while still being lightweight and having a pretty finish. I'm interested to keep trying that. I definitely don't want to say that it's like my favorite yet, but I like it, and I like that it is a kind of like a creamier formula. I only have ever tried liquids and like a powder foundation. So yeah, I'm super excited to see how that sinks in. The next item here is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. This is just a little mini sample size that I got with my Sephora order. This is in the shade 10 Tan, which when I put this in the basket, the shade options were like 7.5, 10, and then 2 deeper options. So I thought 10 was kind of like the light medium, but it's apparently the tan shade. I'm gonna try and use it anyway. When I swatched it on my hand, it definitely looked a little bit dark, but it didn't look too bad. I'm trying to put this over some blemishes and also under my eyes to see how that's working. Definitely dark. Definitely too dark for my shade at the time being, and probably will forever be too dark, but I want to see at least the finish of it and how it blends out. So I'm using the same brush I was using for the foundation, and I'm just kind of patting that out. Okay, yeah, definitely a little too dark, but it doesn't look bad, I don't think. It isn't clinging to any dry patches. It kind of feels glowy. It kind of looks glowy under my eyes. My eyes look a little bit more hydrated than they were before. It's kind of hard to tell though with the shade match. Like, it's definitely kind of covered up my dark circles, and it doesn't look bad at all. It's just a little bit off for, like, the shade is just a little bit off, so I'm a little bit thrown. I don't think it looks bad. I think I obviously have a shade that's too dark, but I think it looks okay. Definitely a little sticky. I'm gonna wait for that to dry down a little bit. I think the foundation is pretty good. The concealer is a tiny, tiny bit too dark. Like, this looks like it would be an okay concealer in like the peak summertime, but right now it's just a tiny, tiny bit too dark. So I don't love that, but I'm willing to keep trying and try and get more use out of that. So the next thing I'm gonna put on my face is actually this, this is the Persona Bronze Multi-Stick in the shade Dune. When I took off the little plastic thingy, it kind of, I don't know, it's kind of destroyed. So I am gonna take the stick. So I lost a little bit of product there, which is not the biggest deal, but I kind of wish I still had that. I'm just gonna draw this right onto my face, and I'm just gonna bronze up my forehead, kind of around my eyes, cheekbones, and on my chin. Formula seems really creamy. It kind of like melts with my touch. I'm gonna use this e.l.f. putty bronzer brush to try and blend this out. Okay, I would say it blends out pretty easy. I am not sure if this is a good shade match for me. It looks a little bit too light, especially with this shade of foundation. but I like how easily it's blending out. I'm a little bit overboard, so I'm just gonna take my foundation brush and kind of pat that. Okay, so far I think everything looks pretty good. I obviously want to try these out a lot more, but I think my skin is like a nice amount of glow right now. It looks healthy but not overly dewy. I don't have a primer on, so all of the glow you see is like from the foundation itself and the products that I've put on it. The bronzer is, I wouldn't say glowy, I would say it's kind of like a satiny shade or a satiny type of vibe, but I think it's pretty. I think it blended out really easily, and I think I would get a lot of use out of that. Okay, next is another Persona Cosmetics item. This is the blush stick in the shade Bubble. This is not brand new to me, but it is newer, and I thought since we were using the bronzer in kind of the same format, we should use the blush too. I also have a powder blush, but we are going to try the cream first. So I just put that on. I'm gonna grab this brush. This is a ColourPop F31, and I'm just gonna kind of stipple this out. I've been really obsessed with these like cooler pink tones. I think they're super pretty and super fun. I also think they're not surprisingly, but they are also very flattering. Like, I don't think I've seen anyone wear this where it didn't look good on them. So I'm excited to have a cream version of this. You guys know I love the Dior Rosy Glow blush in the shade Pink, and this is pretty similar in tone. The blush is pretty pigmented actually, which I'm happy about. I like that it's a little bit more pigmented. You guys know I'm pretty heavy-handed with the blush. I think that blended out super easily. I just kind of like patted it all around. I don't notice any harsh edges. I don't notice any picking up of the foundation from swiping it on my face, which is really the key. I like the tone of this blush a lot. I think it's super pretty. I think the blush is actually maybe a little bit more glowy than the bronzer. I feel like I have a little bit more of a glow going on. And for powder blush, I actually picked up the Persona Super Blush in the same shade, in the shade Bubble. So again, it's this cool toned pink. I'm gonna put some of this on my cheeks, and I'm just gonna use a ColourPop F30 brush. Blush is a little bit powdery, a lot picks up. I'll try and blend that out a little bit. But yeah, you definitely pick up a lot when you dip into it. It kind of exploded a little bit, so it's not super finely pressed. I think it blended out okay. But definitely a different formula than the Dior blush. The Dior blush is much more like pressed than this one. I do still like this shade though. I think it kind of matches the cream blush perfectly. Maybe a little heavy-handed with the blush, but I just really like this shade. I like how kind of like fresh and rosy I look, even though it's like so pink. Like, I'm definitely not a gal who wears pink a lot, but there's something about this blush tone in particular that is just chef's kiss. Okay, so I really like that. I really like how that's looking so far. I am actually going to do my brows. I don't have any new brow products, so I'm just gonna like zoom through putting on my brows, but I'm just gonna use my Project Pan items, so my ABH brow pencil and my NYX Thick It Stick It brow gel. Before we go any further, I'm actually gonna go in with the powder of the new foundation. I probably should have gone in with this a little bit earlier, but I kind of forgot. So I'm just gonna take this Refer 05 brush. Yeah, it's just a little brush. And I'm just gonna lightly brush this powder all over the face. I think that turned out pretty. I don't notice a ton of like matteness. My face definitely feels less sticky than it did before. It blurs just a little bit. I wouldn't say it's like super blurring, but there is a little bit of a blur quality there. I think it's okay. I kind of like it. I definitely have to try it more. I want to see if this powder will work with other foundations. I want to see if other powders will work with this foundation. But so far, I'm honestly really liking where everything is. My cheeks are heavily blushed, as per usual, as the way I like it. But yeah, I'm liking how everything has turned out so far. The next thing I'm going to try is the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain in the shade Power Mauve. I have not tried this yet. I swatched it on my hand and it did leave a stain after like 30 seconds. So we're just gonna pop that bad boy on. Okay. This shade is definitely lighter than I thought it would be. Actually, it turned a lot darker as I was applying it. It started off really light, but now it is much darker, which I much prefer this type of color than what it looked like when you first applied it, or when I first applied it. I actually think that's really pretty. Pretty comfortable. It's not dried down a ton yet. I'm sure this will stain because it stained my hand after like 30 seconds, but the finish is nice and glossy right now. Definitely want to see the wear time of this. Like right now it's 3:51, almost 4. Yeah, so far I'm liking it. I think this shade of lip and the blush kind of clash a little bit, but I don't think it's too bad. I've really been digging this so far. I'm very impressed with the way that this has gone. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. Definitely want to see how this dries down though. I've heard a lot of hyped things about the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain. I'm a big fan of this color. I actually really like this color. I hope it fades well. I think I'm going to try and do a wear test at the end of the day. It's not going to be a super long wear test, like maybe 6-ish hours probably, because it is already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's not much else I can do today to like test this out. But so far I really like it. I'm really liking how everything is looking. My skin still looks pretty. My pores look a little bit diffused. It doesn't look cakey at all. Yeah, I'm really happy with this so far. I am actually going to do a little bit of eyeshadow. I'm just going to take a transition-y color and actually, so I'm going to try out this Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette right now because I haven't tried it yet, and I just posted my eyeshadow ranking. I just posted my eyeshadow ranking video, so I figured might as well try it now that I have the chance. I'm just gonna use a couple of these shades though. I'm gonna go in with this second shade here. That's the shade, it's the Day Eye number 2. I don't know, that's not a great shade name. when I'm picking it up on the brush, it definitely seems a little bit more creamier. I don't have on any eyeshadow primer, by the way, which maybe I should have put on, but too late now. So far, it's not really blending the way I want it to. It kind of seems to be better at picking up a little bit of pigment and like stippling it on than taking it and blending it. Definitely pigmented though. I think you just have to work at it for a little bit. Yeah, this formula seems a lot creamier. Alright, this is definitely a little darker than I had initially intended it to be. In the pan, the shade looks a little lighter than this. Like, it doesn't look as rusty, like orange. But that's okay. I kind of dig the vibe. But yeah, I was not expecting this. This is definitely more like a creamy formula. Maybe I should have known that, but it looks really nice. I think I like it. I've only tried the one shade, so I can't be that confident. But I think it blended out pretty easily. It's pretty pigmented. I think I just wasn't expecting it to be so creamy. I was expecting more of like a powdery shade. So I was just a little bit surprised, but I think it looks fine. Not the vibe with the rest of this look though. I think it's a little bit too warm for how pink my cheeks are and kind of how I want to say the lip is like a little bit more cool toned though. So the kind of like the rusty red, rusty orange shade doesn't look that great. It kind of clashes with the rest of the look, but that's okay. We're just experimenting. I don't have a ton of thoughts on that yet. I'm gonna try and use that more, all of these products more, but yeah, pleasantly surprised. I hope so though, because it was like $56. The next thing I'm gonna go in with this Makeup by Mario Master Crystal Reflector. This is technically a highlighter, but this is in the shade Bronzite. I'm gonna use this more as an eyeshadow type topper than like a highlighter. So I put some on my finger and I'm just tapping it onto the lid. I think that's super pretty. I think you can definitely build up the shimmer if you want it to be a little bit more icy. It doesn't have a ton of a base, and I don't think I would like this as a highlighter because it's definitely too glittery for my tastes. But I think it looks pretty. I'm excited to use that more for sure. I'm worried that there might be some fallout as the day goes on. Like I said, I didn't use any primers though, so again, not really going with the rest of the look, but that is okay. I am not going anywhere today. The last new thing I'm gonna try is the e.l.f. No-Budge Matte Shadow Stick in the shade Cool Bean. I picked this up mainly to be an eyeliner type of thing. So I'm just going to kind of drag this along the outer corner and drag this on the lower lash line on the outer corner as well. I saw someone kind of do liner like this and I think it made their eyes look more open. I tried it a couple days ago and I think it made my eyes look more open, but the liner I used faded pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna try again and hopefully this kind of stays a little bit better than the previous liner that I tried. I just want like a little small smudger brush. So I'm gonna take this Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes number 12 brush. I'm just smudging it a little bit. I was just hoping to define the outer corners of my eyes a little bit more, but this one turned out a little bit more winged, so I'm gonna try and get the other side to match. I'm gonna stop messing with it because I think I'm gonna make it worse if I keep going. I'm gonna curl my eyelashes and then put on mascara, and then we will go through like the final look. So I curled my eyelashes and I'm just gonna use the One Size Fantasize mascara. Mascara is done. This is the final look. I'm gonna bring you closer. Honestly, I think things look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way things are staying right now. Obviously, I don't love this eye look with the rest of this like makeup, but I think I'm pretty happy. I ended up really liking the color of this lip. I love the color of the blush. My skin looks pretty good right now. I think it maybe enhances a little bit of texture on my cheeks. I feel like I'm noticing it a little bit more. But I'm not sure if that is the foundation or the blush. The lip is still a little bit sticky. Nothing too bad though. I'm definitely excited to see how this wears off. I want to see how long the stain lasts. But yeah, overall, I think this turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way that things are looking right now. I feel like a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. I think the bronzer is nice. It hasn't completely faded yet. I think my skin feels slightly tacky. Not even tacky. I really don't feel a lot on it. Like I feel like it feels like moisturizer, if anything, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't feel like there's something heavy on my skin. It just feels like something is there. Yeah, I think I like it so far. I will be sure to do a little wear test and get back to you guys towards the end of the night. Again, it's already like 4 o'clock, so I don't know how long of a wear test you're gonna get. Probably not super long, but I am super excited to keep trying these out. I think the eyeshadow topper is really pretty. It is very reminiscent of the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Ritz. More bronzy though. The mascara is not new to me, but I am like always a little bit surprised when I see that it has quite a bit of volume. It held a curl relatively well. Just gonna hold my lashes to try and force them to curl up a little bit more. But yeah, I'm genuinely surprised. I can see the hype with some of these products. The lip stain specifically, the shade that it first goes on is not the shade that it stains. This initially went on super pink and now it's a little bit more like mauve-y. Just be aware of that. Like when you pull it out of the tube, it looks way more pink than it shows up on the lips. Not sure what the chemistry behind that is, but something to note, something to be aware about. I want to see how long this eyeshadow stick lasts. I haven't tried any of e.l.f.'s like eyeshadow sticks yet, so excited to try that. Hopefully it lasts pretty well. It smudged out pretty easily and I don't think it's gonna go anywhere once it dries down, but that could just be me being like ambitious. The concealer, I think the concealer looks nice. My under eyes look pretty hydrated. They don't look cakey at all. The shade, definitely too dark. 10, not my shade, but it's pretty. I put it over my like acne down here and I don't think it's overemphasizing the acne at all. And as far as the foundation, I think my skin looks really nice. It doesn't look heavy, it doesn't look cakey. The powder blurred just a little bit without like overly mattifying. My under eyes look super smooth, and yeah, overall it's been really good. We had some real good hits here. So yeah, I will do a wear test. I we'll see you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, I am coming in to check in with you guys. It is about 10:30 p.m. right now. So this makeup has been on for, I want to say 6.5-ish hours. So I just figured I would come and kind of show you how everything has held up through the day. I haven't really done anything super strenuous today, so I don't know how like useful this wear test is, but I figured I'd do it anyway. So you can kind of see this part has gotten pretty patchy. I don't know if it's like me touching my face or if it's me just like, I don't know, maybe it's just lifting. I will say my skin doesn't look too bad. Like, it doesn't look super cakey at all. Like, you can see there's like weird patches of like redness. The eyeshadow actually lasted pretty well. Again, I didn't use any primer at all, so just that one shade from Charlotte Tilbury and the Makeup by Mario topper. But yeah, I think it held up okay. The foundation is really what I wanted to test out. I mean, hopefully you can see, but like I really don't see any cakiness or anything like that. I think it looks pretty good on my skin, and I'm excited to keep trying to use it. I think the shade match is pretty good. The concealer actually looks pretty good too. So overall, I'm not mad about it. I think my cheeks are a little bit patchy. I think that's mostly from me touching it though. I don't think the foundation is super like smudge proof though, because I went and blew my nose and kind of wiped off a lot of the foundation on my nose, which isn't a huge deal for me personally. But if you need your makeup to like super stay, I don't know if this is the right one. The eyeliner, the e.l.f. shadow stick faded a little bit. Like it's not too bad, but it definitely did fade. But overall, I'm kind of liking how it's looking. I didn't touch up my lips at all, and I ate dinner, so the stain is still there, but it's definitely faded a little bit, or a lot of bit really. But this is definitely not my natural lip color, so even after like 6.5 hours and eating dinner and drinking like a lot of water and stuff, it's still there. So I'm gonna call this a success. I really don't think that I had any like major downfalls. I hope this was helpful. If you liked this type of video, please let me know down in the comments. And if you're new here, please like and subscribe if you aren't already. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye!